The film begins on Halloween night, 1963. Someone goes to a house and looks inside. They see a couple in love. The couple goes upstairs, and the person follows them quietly. But then things get scary. The intruder takes a knife and goes into a room. In the room, a young boy is leaving the house, and the intruder goes to an undressed girl. She knows him and says, "Michael." He starts to stab her until she dies. Then he puts on a mask and leaves, just as his parents arrive in a car. It turns out the evil person is a 6-year-old child who just killed his sibling. The scene changes to 1978. In 1978, we meet two doctors, Dr. Samuel and Marion, who are on their way to the hospital to see Michael. They need to take him to court. When they get to the hospital, they find out that Michael has escaped. He gets into their car and drives away, leaving Marion behind. The next morning, we meet Laurie, a high school student going to school. Her dad gives her a key to the same house we saw at the beginning of the movie. He tells her to hide it under the doormat because he wants to sell the house. On her way, Laurie meets Tommy Doyle, a boy she babysits. They go to the house, and Laurie hides the key under the doormat. Tommy tells her the house is haunted, and Laurie listens. In another scene, Dr. Samuel talks to his colleague, telling him they need to tell the police that Michael escaped. While Laurie is at school, she sees Michael in a mask, watching her from the street. When she looks again, he's gone. Then, we see Tommy at school, and his classmates tell him about the boogeyman who will come for him. Michael goes to the school, follows Tommy for a bit, and then leaves. Dr. Samuel finds a truck near some train tracks with Michael's hospital clothes. This means Michael killed someone and took their clothes. Laurie finishes school and goes home with her friends Annie and Linda. On the way, Laurie sees Michael following her, but her friends don't believe her. After walking for a while, they get to Laurie's house. Laurie sees Michael again in her backyard. He disappears, and she gets scared and closes the windows. At the same time, Annie calls to say she's coming over. Annie arrives. While they drive, they see Laurie's dad, Sheriff Lee Brackett, who owns a hardware store. He stops them and asks about a theft at his store. Knives, ropes, and a Halloween mask were stolen. He thinks it's just kids because it's Halloween night, but they don't know it's actually Michael. He keeps following them until they get to Laurie's house. Laurie starts babysitting Tommy, and Annie babysits a girl named Lindsay across the street. Meanwhile, Dr. Samuel and Sheriff Brackett go to Michael's house to find him. Dr. Samuel tells Sheriff Brackett about Michael's evil past. Dr. Samuel thinks Michael will come back to the house, and Sheriff Brackett patrols the streets, worried about the danger. Back at Laurie's, she and Tommy tell stories. Tommy is really into the boogeyman. Across the street, Annie and Laurie talk on the phone, and Annie is annoyed by the family dog. Tommy thinks he sees the boogeyman outside and wants to show Laurie, but she can't see anything and says Tommy's worries are nothing to worry about. Tommy is scared and tells Laurie that he's being followed, but Laurie promises to keep him safe for now, which calms him down a bit. Meanwhile, Michael is still watching Annie. He kills the family dog because it barks at him and makes Annie's clothes dirty. She tries to wash her clothes, but Michael traps her in the laundry room. Annie calls for help, but Lindsay can't hear her because the TV is too loud. Thankfully, Annie's boyfriend calls, and Lindsay tells her. Lindsay helps Annie by opening the laundry room door and giving her the phone. Annie's boyfriend wants a ride, so she takes Lindsay to Tommy's house to stay with Laurie. Before she leaves, she asks Laurie to watch over Lindsay and goes to get her car keys. As Annie gets in her car, Michael appears from the back seat and grabs her throat from behind, choking her. She tries to honk the horn for help, but no one hears, and she sadly dies from choking. Next, Linda and her boyfriend come to join Annie. They enter the house and find it empty. Linda calls Laurie to ask where Annie is. Laurie says Annie left early to pick up her boyfriend, and Linda and her boyfriend are excited about being alone. After being intimate, Linda's boyfriend goes to the kitchen for some beer. Michael suddenly appears and attacks him, stabbing him with a kitchen knife and pinning him to the wall. Then, Michael goes to Linda's room and dresses up in her boyfriend's ghost costume. Linda thinks it's her boyfriend playing a joke and makes fun of him, thinking it's all in good fun. But Michael, hiding in the room, strangles Linda with the phone cord while Laurie listens on the other end of the call. At first, Laurie thinks it's a prank, but as Linda's voice fades, she starts to worry. Laurie goes into the house across the street. Dr. Samuel, doing his rounds, finds the stolen car and starts looking around. Inside the house, Laurie finds the lifeless bodies of Linda and her boyfriend upstairs. She's shocked and sad, crying. Then, Michael appears from behind, slashes her arm, and makes her fall down the stairs. Injured and scared, Laurie goes to the back door because she lost her keys to the front door. She manages to get out and locks the door, telling the kids to hide and trying to call the police. But the phone doesn't work, leaving Laurie in a tough spot. She turns off the lights and tries to hide, but Michael knows she's there and tries to attack her. Laurie grabs a knitting needle and stabs him in the neck, thinking she's hurt him badly. She goes outside just as Sheriff Brackett is patrolling and Dr. Samuel is searching. Dr. Samuel tells Sheriff Brackett to check behind the house while he waits in front, expecting Michael near his car. Inside, Laurie struggles to go up the stairs to find the children. Suddenly, Michael appears behind her, and she rushes the children into a room and hides in a closet. Michael finds her in the closet, but can't reach her. Laurie uses a sharp hanger pin to hurt him again, and he falls down. Laurie thinks he's dead and comes out of the closet to lead the children to safety. She tells them to run to a neighbor's house and call the police. The children run away, screaming for help. Dr. Samuel hears them and rushes to check. Inside the house, Michael appears behind Laurie again, trying to hurt her. But Dr. Samuel arrives just in time and shoots at Michael until he runs out of bullets. Michael falls off the balcony because of the gunfire. Dr. Samuel carefully goes to the balcony, but Michael is gone, leaving a strange feeling of uncertainty. And with that mysterious disappearance, the movie ends. Halloween, released in 1978, directed by John Carpenter, produced on a budget of approximately $300,000 to $325,000. The film went on to gross around $70 million worldwide, making it one of the most profitable independent films of all time. The iconic and eerie Halloween theme was composed by John Carpenter himself. The simple yet haunting tune was played on a piano and became synonymous with horror. Even though the film is set in Illinois, it was actually shot in Pasadena and Hollywood, California. This led to some continuity errors, like palm trees being visible in certain shots. The entire film was shot in just 20 days in the spring of 1978. The influence of Halloween on the horror genre cannot be overstated. Its success not only set the stage for a slew of horror films in the following decades, but also solidified John Carpenter's reputation as a master of horror. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications and leave a like to help the channel out.